Amped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh. Health City, now open at Camana Bay 7 days a week.
The Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure, and by West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you.
For the record.
Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record.
Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Ort Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees so fair. Today is Monday, the 12th day of July 2021. I hope and I trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable weekend. Those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, we urge you to please be extremely cautious, whether you're a pedestrian, a cyclist, or operating any type of motorized vehicle. Ensure that you observe the rules of the road, and remember, by doing so, the life you save may simply be your own. For those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday, or if you celebrated a birthday over the past few days, a belated happy birthday as well. Those who have lost loved ones, again, we want to express our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these very challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing as well. For those of you who are ill, whether at home or at a medical facility, we want to wish you a speedy recovery. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman and by extension For the Record into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Ort Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open, and of course we have the beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson waiting to take your calls. You can call us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flow. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. Email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord, at candw.ky. WhatsApp us, 925-3261, where you can send us a text message or leave us a voice note, the contents of which will be played during the course of the show. And of course, you can follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. First thing I want to do is give you the latest update that we have, and I'm sure that we will receive one sometime this morning. And if it comes in before the end of the show, I will share that with you as well, and that would be the COVID-19 update. And this last one that we have is for the 9th of July, Friday the 9th of July, and at that time 427 COVID-19 tests had been carried out since it was last reported on Thursday. There was one positive amongst those 427 tests that had been carried out. And to date, we're 94,277 COVID-19 vaccinations have been given in total. 48,764, which represents 69% of the estimated 71,100 population, had at least one dose of a COVID-19 vaccine, and approximately 46% have completed the 2-dose course as well. All vaccine clinics, they were all closed on Thursday, and if you want that's last week Thursday, and if you want the schedule, then you can certainly do so by visiting the Health Services website as well. Okay, we have been informed that Minister Kenneth Bryan celebrating a birthday today, and his mom, nieces, nephews, wife, children, everyone wishing him a happy birthday, and I'm sure that his constituents would want to do the same as well, and we here at Radio Cayman want to wish the minister a happy birthday as well. Back on to the COVID-19 situation, I just want to continue to hammer home the point that we still need to continue to encourage those persons who are able to be vaccinated and want to be vaccinated, that they should do so. If there are any questions, any hesitancy, and you need advice, the Health Services Authority, they have their medical doctors there who can give you advice, or your own private doctors can give you advice as to if you have any questions or any reservations in relation to that. We still need to reach the 80% level in terms of herd immunity. We cannot afford to let our guard down. We have seen in other jurisdictions where they have had to reimpose certain conditions as a result of the flare-up or the resurgence of COVID-19. For instance, in Jamaica now, recently reported in one of their daily newspapers, they have now experienced 1,130 deaths in Jamaica. And I would venture to say that number is probably underreported. Have no evidence of it, but when they started to report the deaths in Jamaica from COVID-19, I'm not sure whether or not they were being realistic at that point in time. We also see in Barbados where they also have introduced or reintroduced certain restrictions in terms of crowd numbers, curfews and everything. And Barbados has, so far, they have had 48 deaths over there. So here in the Cayman Islands, we have to continue to encourage persons to be vaccinated. We cannot afford to let our guards down. I saw in one of our local newspapers today that no date has yet been set in terms of the requirements of work permit holders to be vaccinated. I think the sooner that is put in place, the better. Otherwise, as we wait each day that work permit renewals take place or new grants take place, those are persons who are slipping through the cracks at this point in time. So that is something that the government announced that they would be doing. Previous government, I believe, and this government has supported that as well. We need to get that in place ASAP before too many persons slip through the cracks. With that, I'll like to introduce my guest, and in the studio with me again this morning, none other than Dr. Steve McField. Doc, good morning. Welcome back. How was the weekend?
Good morning, Mr. For the Record, and good morning to all your fans in the For the Record land and in the Cayman diaspora, and all the people listening to you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. My weekend was pretty good. I rested this weekend.
Okay.
I did a lot of work over the last couple of months, and moving and everything took a toll on me.
I can imagine, yes.
And I rested the whole week, slept and read some, read a lot of, went back and read a lot of Mandela, read a lot from Mandela and Clinton. That's what I did, particularly on Sunday. Read a lot of their sayings and their philosophies and so forth. And very interesting people. Of course, the great Honorable Mandela is deceased, and Clinton is still alive. I was going over their presidencies to see, what kind of the people they were, what kind of principles they brought to their respective offices, and see what I could glean from their writings. So that's what I was interested in this weekend.
Okay, and of course, we see the situation, and we didn't get an opportunity to talk too much about that on Wednesday or on Friday, the situation over in Haiti. And I see where the Turks and Caicos Islands, they have basically boosted up their surveillance and their border controls, because they always experience an influx of Haitians because of their proximity. And, with the instability in Haiti at this point in time, the possibility of migrants trying to leave is even more heightened, as before.
Yeah, the Nassau papers also reported that they're boosting their border controls. Also, their out island, they call them border controls, where Haitians land, because that is also almost adjacent to Haiti, also not too far away. I think I don't know what our policy is for border control, but I know that I saw the test that sometime. I get up in the night and I go and sit on a beach someplace, 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning, and I don't really see anything. And I was just saying, anyone can come into this country in the night on a fast boat or by other means, and can land people here, and like they did in Haiti, because there was a whole contingent of people over there to take out the president and destroy the government.
But most of them, it seems as if they went in at least semi-legal, if there's such a thing. They may have traveled over to the Dominican Republic first and then travel by land over there. But I see, I don't know if you saw this, where a prominent a doctor from who lived in the U.S. and flew into Haiti by private plane a few days before the president was assassinated, and he has been arrested now as one of the major leaders in the in this whole assassination.
Yeah, many of them were ex-military men from Colombia and from the United States. And this morning, I saw the news where some of them who were arrested were flown back to the U.S., flown back to Miami, and were arrested there and are being held by the Miami authorities. The news clipping said that that the United States wanted them to be sent back there, and a lot of people now are writing in Haiti because they say that they didn't want those people to be sent back to the United States. They want to deal with them in Haiti on their own, and they can't understand why the Haitian police, the government, the interim government that's in power now, sent those men back to the United States. Some of them were arrested with a whole catch of weapons, and so it's, to me, it's so easy to do it here. I don't know what the reason they would want to come here to kill people, to assassinate people, but then you have to be vigilant, and that is one of the reasons why, going back to 1962, on the 17th and on the 18th and 19th of January 1962, when Governor Blackburn came here, and when we were offered full internal self-government, one of the things that we required was defense, a defense force to protect us. And we have just started now. That was so many years since we have just started defense force now. And what Haiti reminds me of, and other countries remind me of, that you are all vulnerable to these kinds of actions. Mm-hmm. If people don't like you for something and they want to destroy your economy, for instance, they could come, they could do that, they could start that. And I think we have to be more vigilant than we are, and people and the kind of people that we let in here, and the kind of people who come to our shores, mm-hmm. and how we embrace them without due process and about checking their backgrounds. I think that we have to be more vigilant about that too.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a break. When we return, we can continue to talk about the vigilance that we need to observe, and the vulnerability that we have, and whether or not that threat is more so in relation to drug trafficking and arms trafficking than any political threat that may emerge, similar to what has happened in other jurisdictions. So, folks, we're going to take a commercial break. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, he hath founded it upon the seas.
Captain Harris L. Bodden.
CPM, 1888 to 1972.
Like most early Caymanians, Captain Harris sought a livelihood on the high seas, completing his years there as a master mariner. In 1926, he retired from sea and, with a young family to provide for, became a police officer. For most of his career, he was the lone law officer on Cayman Brac. During his many years of service, in addition to keeping the peace, Captain Harris served as customs officer, postmaster for the eastern sections of Cayman Brac, bailiff, prison officer and guard, census taker, and lighthouse keeper, in all of which he was ably supported by his wife, Miss Ella Nee Jackson, and their 6 children. In the absence of a police car, he carried out his patrols on a bicycle. During the aftermath of the 1932 hurricane, he distributed overseas donations of food, clothing, and medication, and arranged burials for the dead. Captain Harris was a man of stature who carried himself with authority, yet dispensed justice with kindness, sympathy, and wisdom.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Introducing the 35th President of Rotary Central Cayman Islands, Ms. Corleen Goodman Hoptroff. Our new President Corleen and her team will lead us through the new Rotary year, July 2021 through July 2022. Another year of community purpose and fulfillment. We, Rotary Central, look ahead knowing that with your help, the best is yet to come. President Corleen leads us as we join over 1.2 million Rotarians across 35,000 Rotary clubs around the world under a new Rotary International theme, a new banner: Serve to Change Lives. Serve to change lives in our community, Grand Cayman, Cayman Brac, and Little Cayman. Serve to change lives, yours and ours. Knowing this, the best is yet to come.
Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vant Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast, and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier. Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vampmotors.com or stop by Vamp's Service Center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vamp Motors on Walkers Road.
Health City is now open at Camana Bay, offering a wide range of specialties at our state-of-the-art Camana Bay Clinic. We are here to help you save time and feel better. We are open weekdays, weekends, and evenings for your convenience and are dedicated to reducing your wait time while improving your health. Friendly staff, expert care, lab services, and diagnostics in one convenient location from the hospital you know and trust. Health City at Camana Bay, within your reach.
When I was growing up in Cayman, Sundays was always a big day for our family. Everyone would go to Granny's house for Sunday dinner after church. Even today, I can still smell the aroma of all the delicious food we used to eat, especially the hot, fresh baked bread smothered in butter, topped off with our favorite pan cheese. These days, I don't have enough time to cook and bake, but I do my best to carry on the Sunday tradition of family meals, and being able to get hot, fresh bread with no preservatives or additives from Caribbean Bakery is a big help for me. Shh, don't tell them, they still think I baked it. Caribbean Bakery, now delivering every Sunday to McGrath's grocery store in Eastern Avenue and Marina Drive. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Since March 2004, West Bay Pharmacy has kept their doors open to the local communities, even before, during, and after Hurricane Ivan. At West Bay Pharmacy, our staff provides so much more than pharmaceutical excellence. From the moment you walk through our doors to completing your cash out, our staff will have put your healthcare concerns at ease. We would like to take this moment to thank our loyal friends and customers. To us at West Bay Pharmacy, our patients are our primary concern. We provide thorough background checks and precise calculations to ensure your medical safety. Thank you for being a part of our family and for choosing West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Steve Macfield. So, Doc, going back to the whole idea for our borders and border security, you know, one of the most difficult borders to control, so when you have an island and you're totally surrounded by sea, by water. Makes it even more difficult to control. But you did mention the fact that we now have a Coast Guard that is being developed. We would hope and we trust that we're using other technologies as well as human intelligence to keep us up to speed with what's happening. We have on occasions heard of drug boats coming in.
Yes.
To the Cayman Islands, some being detected, some being intercepted as well. We've heard of persons landing illegally in the Cayman Islands. So all of that is quite possible, and quite possible in any jurisdiction for that matter. But I believe that we now recognize that the challenges that we're facing in today's world, today's Cayman, quite different than from the challenges that we previously faced as well. And it is good to see that the authorities are boosting up those areas where we need to, in order to have some control over entry and exit from the Cayman Islands.
Well, it's necessary to do that because one of the things that I understand, I don't know for sure, but one of the things that I have been made to understand is that we don't know the size of our population, and we really don't have accurate records of who come and who go from the Cayman Islands.
Well, we should have that. Those who legally travel, we should have those.
Yes.
The system that when I left immigration that was in place, we had a system whereby all persons traveling in the Cayman Islands were categorized. If you're a permanent resident, you have a particular code, your category for permanent residents. If you're a Caymanian, there's a code for you, for Caymanian. If you're a work permit holder, there's a code. If you're a work permit dependent, there's a code. If you're a government employee, there's a code. If you're a government employee dependent, there's a code as well. So when the hurricane season came around, we were able to produce to the Hurricane Committee, which was a hurricane committee at that point in time, before we went to hazard management, and I'm sure that they're able to do the same thing now, to be able to determine and to tell how many tourists are resident on the island. And if the information that they have given with the tourists when they arrive is correct, we know exactly where they're staying also, because on those immigration cards you were required to state the location that you were staying at. If you were at a condo, you given the name of the condo. If you were at a hotel, you would give the name of the hotel. So we had all of that data there. So in terms of those persons traveling, there was not an issue. It's the persons who do not travel. And remember now, we had a faulty census in the 1990s. We had a census that we really didn't rely. I'm not even sure that we published it because of issues that we had, with that particular census.
But I just wonder, you talk about the tourists who obviously is at a hotel or other recognized guest house. What about the person who comes in as a visitor and it's not at a recognized hotel or a motel? What about when the visitor comes in and he gives an address, a local address of a friend, for instance, or people, but doesn't stay there?
Well, you put the address down that the person is staying at. Now, there was a time when we were so strict that sometimes we would contact that friend to verify that the person was actually staying there. Now, with our tourist population, the way it is now, we may not necessarily resort to that. And also bear in mind that we have a visa regime in place, so that there are several countries that fall under that visa regime as well. When they're applying for a visa, they have to have a sponsor in the Cayman Islands, so you know that you can go to that sponsor. I'm not saying that the system is airtight, but those persons who come to the Cayman Islands legitimately to do business or legitimately to visit and to are bona fide tourists, we have no issues with those. It's those persons who come for ulterior motives that you have to deal with. And I believe we have less and less of that now because of the fact that we have a visa regime in place. Top of the hour, 8 o'clock news. Folks, when we return, the conversation with Dr. Steve McField will continue, so please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
Studio time now by Foster's is 8 o'clock.
So it's your turn to cook tonight. What are we having? Well, we have chicken thighs, pork chops, sirloin steak, ground chicken, or beef stir fry.
Wow, so many options.
Yeah, I got them from the Foster's Pick 5 selection. You can choose any 5 specially marked packs for $19.99. The meat is always fresh and never previously frozen. It's the perfect way to stock up for the week.
So all of this only costs $19.99?
It sure did.
Pick 5 is available at all locations and selection may vary between stores. Foster's, better value because we care.
8 a.m. News is proudly sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. For further information, please visit chamberpension.ky. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. Please be advised that the pension contribution holiday has been extended until 31st of December 2021. Employers and plan members should ensure arrangements are in place for salary deductions and remittance following this date. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan, keeping you informed. For further information, visit chamberpension.ky. And for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630. We're here for you.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Karsley Fuller. DART's President of Business Development, Jackie Dope, makes the case for a national environmental management framework to, quote, provide clear guidance on how land can be developed, managed, and protected in the future. She was speaking at the Chamber of Commerce's legislative luncheon on Thursday, arguing a lack of national plan, creating confusion, and contributing to, quote, unnecessary polarization in the community. Ms. Doak told the business crowd there are highly sensitive habitats in Cayman that need to be protected, but also land that could, quote, be developed to the benefit of all. She added that a management framework would help create greater clarity around the land that falls between those two extremes. Ms. Doak said government and the private sector need to work together in the best interest of the islands and that DART is prepared to play its part. Camana Bay closes its Festival Green and Mangrove Loop after a group of feral dogs have been reported. According to Camana Bay's online notice, officials are supporting the Department of Agriculture in its efforts to locate and secure the group that have been reported. The closure happened on July 1st and will be closed until further notice. The notice goes on to say DART's primary concern is for the safety of those living, working, and visiting the properties. They're encouraging the public to report any sightings of feral dogs to the DOA. Minds Inspired launches a new challenge. Radio Cayman's Felicia Rankin-Salins has more.
The challenge is based on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, a global framework for ending poverty, protecting the planet, and addressing a range of social issues. Participating students are asked to put themselves in the roles of leaders grappling with multiple competing issues and working together as a team to select a project which, if implemented, would help create a more sustainable Cayman by 2030. The Challenge program intends to help the students, Cayman's future leaders, better understand the three main pillars of sustainability and the variety of local issues affecting people, planet, and prosperity in the Cayman Islands. Participating schools will nominate a team of 5 students to compete. A pilot program was held at Cayman International School. The winning team of the challenge received $500 to donate to a local nonprofit of their choice, with the funds going to protect our future. For more information, visit mindsinspired.ky. For Radio Cayman News, I'm Felicia Rankin-Salins.
Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with Moira Alderson. The army is being deployed in South Africa to help the police deal with the violence and looting that was triggered by the jailing of former President Jacob Zuma. There have been more than 200 arrests, and the police said 6 deaths were being investigated. The Constitutional Court has begun reviewing Mr. Zuma's 15-month sentence for contempt of court in connection with a corruption trial. A Jordanian court has sentenced 2 men to 15 years in prison for plotting with a former crown prince to destabilise the kingdom. An ex-chief of the royal court, Bassem Awadullah, and a minor member of the royal family were accused of conspiring to present Prince Hamza as an alternative to King Abdullah. More than 50 people have been killed in lightning strikes in northern India. Most of the dead were women and children in rural areas. 11 of those killed were visiting a 12th century monument in Jaipur. Fatal lightning strikes are not unusual in India, but the number has significantly increased since the 1960s. A family of 16 Afghans who say they fled their country after receiving death threats from the Taliban are stranded inside Istanbul's international airport after arriving 3 weeks ago. So far, they've been refused entry to Turkey. Scuffles have broken out between a government and opposition members in the Georgian parliament following the death of a TV cameraman beaten up by anti-gay activists a week ago. Security staff stopped the opposition bringing the cameraman's boss into the building to ask questions about the failure of police to stop the violence. Germany's main agency dealing with coronavirus is reportedly asking for changes in the way it highlights the current threat from the disease. The Robert Koch Institute wants hospital admissions to become the main indicator rather than the infection rate in the general population. That's the latest. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is proudly sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. For further information, please visit chamberpension.ky. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. Are you aware of the performance of your pension plan? The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan provides quarterly fund fact sheets for our members to stay informed with the plan's performance. For the year ended 30th of April, 2021, the various life cycle funds have provided returns between 10.5% and 43.2%. And our all-in expense ratio for year ended 30th of June, 2020 is currently the lowest it's ever been. 0.72%. Visit chamberpension.ky to review our fund fact sheets. You can see the performance as far back as 10 years. Remember that pensions are a longer-term investment strategy. Focus on the long term rather than the short-term returns. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan continues to perform for you.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Want to continue your education but don't have the money? UCCI has more than $100,000 in new scholarships, but you need to apply by July 16th. You may qualify for up to $4,000 per year, depending on your area of study. Several new scholarships are targeted at students with financial need. The money is there, but the deadline is approaching fast. Visit ucci.edu.ky/financial aid. Call 623-8224 or visit the on-campus one-stop center for more information.
Radio Cayman News.
2 are injured and one 36-year-old man is left dead after a shooting on Martin Drive in Georgetown.
In response, we are deploying additional armed patrols for heightened armed visibility.
They have arrested a 31-year-old Georgetown man in suspicion of murder.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
The 8:10 a.m. weather report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by Pan American International Insurance Corporation. Pan American International Insurance Corporation, meeting the life, accident, and health insurance needs of individuals and businesses to ensure financial security and peace of mind. For more information, call 949-8304 or visit www.palig.com. That's PALIG.com.
For over 100 years, more than 5.8 million people across the Americas and the Caribbean have placed their trust in Pan American Life Insurance Group. We have delivered on our promise and have proven that we are more than an insurance company. We are family. To learn more about our first-in-class individual and group life, disability and accident solutions, please visit Pan American International Insurance Corporation at Unit 221, Cannon Place East, North Sound Road, Grand Cayman, or contact us at 949-8304 and visit us online at www.palig.com. Pan American Life, people you can trust for life.
Pleasant good morning. Let's take a look at the very latest weather report. Current temperature is 84 degrees. Relative humidity is 78%. The barometric pressure 29.99 inches and rising. The wind is out of the east at 10 knots. Overnight low temperature was 81 degrees. Synopsis indicate moderate easterly winds and seas will continue across the Cayman area in association with a ridge of high pressure over the Caribbean Sea. Isolated showers are expected as a tropical wave moves over the western Caribbean, and radar images show isolated showers in and around the Cayman area, moving towards the west. Now the forecast for today, calling for partly cloudy skies with a 20% chance of showers, and temperatures will be in the upper 80s, with a heat index of 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds will be east at 10 to 15 knots, and seas will be slight to moderate, with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. Pretty much the same for tonight, partly cloudy to cloudy skies with a 40% chance of late night showers and possible thunder, and temperatures falling to the upper 70s tonight. Winds will be east at 10 to 15 knots, and seas will be slight to moderate, with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. Expect a high tide this morning at 10:39, low tide this afternoon at 4:49, and a high tide again tonight at 11:41. The sun will set this evening at 6 minutes past 7 and will rise tomorrow morning at 5:56. And the outlook is calling for isolated showers to continue through tomorrow afternoon. A decrease in cloudiness and showers are expected thereafter as the tropical wave moves west of the Cayman area and weekends. That's the very latest on your weather report.
The 8:10 a.m. weather report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by Pan American International Insurance Corporation. Pan American International Insurance Corporation, meeting the life, accident, and health insurance needs of individuals and businesses to ensure financial security and peace of mind. For more information, call 949-8304 or visit www.palig.com. That's PALIG.com.
For over 100 years, more than 5.8 million people across the Americas and the Caribbean have placed their trust in Pan American Life Insurance Group. We have delivered on our promise and have proven that we are more than an insurance company. We are family. To learn more about our first-in-class individual and group life, disability and accident solutions, please visit Pan American International Insurance Corporation at Unit 221, Cannon Place East, North Song Road, Grand Cayman, or contact us at 949-8304 and visit us online at www.palig.com. Pan American Life, people you can trust for life.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong Series is brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
Achieving your goals is a very rewarding feeling, but at times can feel very frustrating, especially if and when we miss our target. As you approach your goals in life, set yourself up for success.
When setting your goals, tell a friend. Having an accountability partner is often helpful in achieving your goals. Let your parents and partner know what you are planning or doing. Sharing with others also helps us to develop the ideas and our vision. Writing down your goals can help to solidify them for you and help you to stay accountable.
Change your thinking and change your life.
Radio Cayman's Cayman Strong Series was brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
These days, feelings of loneliness, anxiety, stress, and depression can be overwhelming. Just know you are not alone. OnCourse Cayman offers private mental health services for children, teens, adults, and groups. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Good morning, and checking in on how the traffic is shaping up this morning. Coming from the east on Shamrock Road and the Linford Pearson Highway, steady but flowing traffic. And a little busy traffic coming off of Agnes Way. Traffic is steady on Crew Road, further up on Crew Road and closer to town, moving on moderately. Coming from the Butterfield roundabout, heading towards the industrial park area, moderate flow of traffic and traffic flowing pretty good on Edward Street and Shedden Road. As we look to the West Bay Road in front of the Ritz, traffic is moderate in both directions. And that's the very latest on your traffic. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12 o'clock. We'll give you another traffic report. Have a good morning and drive safe, Cayman Islands.
At Subway, we know a meal isn't quite complete without a side, and that's why we're introducing waffle fries. Subway's waffle fries are oven-baked softness with extra crispy edge, giving a satisfying taste to be enjoyed as is or in any of Subway's dipping sauces. Order waffle fries as a side item for $2 or make it a meal deal. Subway, eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
I've been looking forward to this barbecue all week.
Don't forget to put out my potato salad now.
How could we ever forget that?
We got everything ready?
Just need the chicken and the ribs. Honey, you have those ready?
Here you go.
Why are they still frozen?
'Cause they were in the freezer.
With no deductible on your home for non-catastrophic events, we're like a barbecue where you didn't forget to defrost the meat.
Are we vegetarians, no?
Just eat the rice.
CG Britke. Insurance, health, pensions, life. Good like that.
As the community continues to take precautions from COVID-19, it is important to stay prepared for other disasters now that we're in the hurricane season. Here are some post-hurricane safety tips from the Department of Environmental Health. Always separate debris from household garbage after a hurricane. Debris includes roofing materials, tree branches, and metals. All items of debris must be placed in separate piles and must not cause obstruction to roadways or come in contact with electrical lines. For full guidance on post-hurricane safety tips, visit www.deh.gov.ky.
Do you know why vaping is considered toxic? Vaping devices work by turning liquids to vapor for users to inhale. Vaping liquids contain a variety of substances. Vaping can cause acute lung injury. People actually don't know what they're inhaling. There is really no regulatory oversight over who is making these liquids, where and how they're making these liquids, and what kind of components are present in these liquids. Ask questions. To learn more about vaping, contact the NDC at 949-9000 or check out our website at www.ndc.ky. This message was brought to you by the National Drug Council and Radio Cayman.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orit Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Steve McPhail. I want to remind you that our phone lines are open. Toll-free number 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037, 949-6990. Email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord@candw.ky. WhatsApp us, 925-3261 as well. So before we went to our 8 o'clock news, you mentioned the census. And of course, we have our census that has just begun. For census is done every 10 years. The last census that was done, it was from the 10th of October 2010 until the 16th of December of 2010. And before I give any additional information out on this, I would say to those persons who are approached, are contacted by the persons who are doing the canvassing for the census, to please cooperate with them. We know that when they do contact you, it's usually time when you're at home, from work and everything. But I believe that they do give you over a period of time to complete what needs to be completed. They will return to even to assist you if assistance is necessary and to collect the forms. But please cooperate with them, because it is important for us to know. The government can make much better plans, do much better forecasting if we know what we're dealing with in terms of the size of our population. So the last census was on the 10th of October 2010 to the 16th of December. In that census, in all, there were 22,760 households whose members were recorded as residents of the Cayman Islands on Census Day. And of course, Census Day was the 10th of October. Those are persons who stayed or intended to stay in the Cayman Islands for at least 6 months as of Census Day. And on the website it says that this is also called de jure census or usual resident population count, which made the 2010 census comparable to the country's previous censuses. And at that census in 2010, there were 55,456 residents of the Cayman Islands counted in that census. That included 420 persons that lived in institutions such as prisons, dorms, retirement homes, etc. And they provided us with other figures as well. You can certainly go on to the website of the Economic and Statistics Unit of the Cayman Islands government, and they have a section in there in relation to population, and it gives us the population of the Cayman Islands at various junctures. 1802, 933, 1891, 4,322, 1911, 5,564, 1921, 5,270, 1934, 5,930, 1943, 6,690, 1960, 8,000 and 511, 1970, 10,068, and that one I remember quite well because I was attending Hunter College, 1970, and the school population at Hunter College, which was part of the city university,
was bigger than Cayman.
Over 13,000, yes. Bigger than the population of the Cayman Islands at that point in time. 1979, 16,677. 1989, 25,355. 1999, 39,220. And in 2010, it was 55,036, which represented an annual growth of 3.1% over the 1999 census. So that was what we had. Now, for some reason, and this is all because we have not had a census since 2010.
Mm-hmm.
So the 70,100 or 71,000 population that we are estimated now is based on, I guess, recalculating from the 55,000 and whatever increase that we would have had at that point in time, why we have arrived at that. And I think some of the figures in relation to the vaccination process help to enlighten and to reveal some of that as well. Just looking at 71,100 is what they're working. That's the number that they're working.
But that would be more than the 3% growth population.
Well, 3% was 3.1% was between 1999 and 2010.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So there's something that you said before we went to the news break about people coming for legitimate reasons.
Okay.
Yes?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Now I know that some countries allow people who come as visitors to who come as tourists, visitors. That's a legitimate reason,
mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Canada now is trying to increase their population from 39 million because to have a growth, because they're the largest country the second largest country in the world, and right north of America where you have 350 million people. Canada is trying to increase their population now, so that because it takes about 3 Canadian working people to support one retired person in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they have changed their policy and are allowing visitors who come there to stay and to work, and they have sent out a invitation to all the students who are studying in Canada to stay. They will give them citizenship within 3 years. It's within 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
You remember one of our friend's daughters, Alan Moore's daughters, who just graduated
yeah. Mm-hmm.
from veterinary college, has been given the right to stay,
mm-hmm.
and she's been given a tremendous opportunity to stay in Canada with a job and bonuses and everything. When people come here, similarly, when people come here as visitors,
mm-hmm.
they come through the immigration line as visitors. They come to visit 2 or 3 weeks. And then 1 week later, after they arrive, they turn up at the immigration or WORC now with an application for a work permit.
Mm-hmm.
Is that breaching their legitimacy coming into the country? The reasons why they come? Is that breaching that? Because I know in America you can't go as a visitor. You can't get a visa as a visitor and then go and apply for a work permit in America. You have to do that outside. You would have to come back and get a visitor's work permit before you can go in as a working person. You would have to go back to the embassy and change your status from a visitor to a worker.
Well, in Cayman, one of the in my years at immigration, and it was a flexible policy. We discouraged persons coming as tourists and then seeking to change their immigration status afterwards, because you could argue in some cases that they may have intentionally deceived the officer at the port of entry.
But that's what I'm asking you.
By saying that they're coming as a
visitor.
As a visitor. But there have been occasions where temporary work permits, and that was the whole part of the whole idea with temporary work permits, that temporary work permits could be issued to persons who were here as visitors. Very rarely was that done, probably only in exceptional circumstances to discourage persons from doing that. What we have even more so now is that many countries fall under a visa regime. So you have to apply for a visa to come to the Cayman Islands first. If that visa is granted, it's granted to you as a visitor, allowing you, the visa has to be used within a given period of time, and it is for you to stay for a given period of time as well. That strengthens the authorities' hand here as well to say, listen, we issued a visa for you under legitimate expectations that you were coming here simply to visit family, friends, or to be a tourist. That is what it was issued for. We're not going to allow you to change your immigration status now to apply. Or if you applied for a work permit, one of the grounds that at that time was that it could be refused on the basis that you were in the islands as a visitor. And we see many other jurisdictions do the same. Bermuda has a similar policy as well. But like I said, there are exceptions to that. But the general rule is that if you're coming to work for the Cayman Islands, you should state that. And not only that, if you're coming to work in the Cayman Islands, you really should seek to get a work permit before you come to the islands. But we're going to continue on this trend. It's time for us to take a commercial break. When we return, the conversation with Dr. Steve McField will continue, so please stay tuned.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Make your house into a home. Welcome to Brand Source Home Gallery, your source for premium products and a premium experience. We'll design and install your dream kitchen with crafted cabinets, complemented with elegant appliances. We'll fill it with quality houseware and cookware. Custom-designed closet and storage solutions organize and beautify any area. And with the finest bedding, you'll get a perfect night's sleep knowing Brand Source Home Gallery has everything you need to make your house a home.
The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter will be taking appointments July 12th through 23rd at his Crew Road Clinic. Appointment slots are limited, whether you're seeking advanced skincare, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles. Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drportercayman@gmail.com or call 946-9020 to book your appointment today. That is 946-9020.
Why is alcohol bad for me?
Look, you're too young for that, eh?
Don't try to scare your child about drinking or tell them you can't handle it. Instead, tell your child that alcohol can be bad for their growing brain. Tell them it interferes with their judgment and can make them sick. Underage drinking has severe consequences, including injury or death from accidents, academic problems, and even other drug use. Young people who drink are also more likely to have health issues, such as depression and anxiety disorders. Once children hear the facts and your opinions about them, it is easier for you to make rules and reinforce them. This message is brought to you by Radio Cayman and the National Drug Council.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Dr. Steve McField in the studio with me. Doc?
Yeah, because it seems to me that in those large countries like Canada and United Kingdom, for instance, now, in the UK, now, if I'm not speaking about the Brexit, after the Brexit, before the Brexit, but now in the UK, for instance, if you're going into the UK for a job interview, you apply for a job, you have to have a visa to go into to the UK to apply for a job. The visa is specifically issued to you for the interview, and it is specifically issued to you for a certain amount of days to be in the UK to conduct the interview, and then you have to leave. Mm-hmm. If the job is offered to you, you have to leave and re-enter the country on a job visa. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. In other words, you can't come in and then apply for a job and then stay in the UK when you came in as a visitor. That's not allowed. And it seems to me that the same thing in the US. I've known some people who went in as visitors to the US and got jobs, and then they came back to the embassy to get the visa, to the job, the work visa.
Yeah.
And they were turned down because the embassy said, you deceived us when you made application to go to the U.S. as a visitor, and your intention was to get a job, and so they refused the work visa. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And that is one way that certain countries are controlling the growth, their population growth, by restricted immigration, especially now the UK is doing that now too, restricting the immigration. It seems to me that it's wide open here now. You can come in from any place, and then you can look around, and then you can see an opening, you can get a job, and then you can go to the immigration or WORC, and then you can make an application, and then it will give you a work permit. But what I'm getting at, if you came in and say that you came in as a visitor to visit the island for 2 weeks, for instance, to lay on the beach and to go diving and snorkeling and stuff, and then next week you are working because you actually came to look around to see what you could get for yourself, it's not a violation of your entry permit?
I'm going to ask you to repeat that for me, Doc.
I says if you came in to say you came in to go diving and snorkeling and to visit Stingray City and so forth, and then the next week you turned up at WORC with an application for a work permit, it's not violating the reason why the immigration permitted you to come into the country?
No, I don't believe so. I believe it would be a violation if you went ahead and you worked as a visitor without the proper permission. But I don't think the submission of an application in itself is a violation of any terms and conditions, unless the condition is that you should not seek employment while in the Cayman Islands.
But it's not stamped in the permit when you come through the immigration that.
No, I think it used to be that the unauthorized employment was prohibited. But that's employment, not the application itself. So legitimately, like you said, you could submit an application for a work permit, and the authorities either defer it or refuse it on the grounds that you're here as a visitor, which means then that you would end up having to leave the jurisdiction. Not that you're here as a visitor. You have breached the intention in which you came in was not what was. It's difficult to prove that.
But if you say that you came as a visitor to visit for a vacation, and then you turn around and you go for an interview for a job,
but somebody could have approached me. I'm here along with friends, and someone would say, you know something. I have an employer who needs someone, who wants someone to work for. And that employer approaches that individual. The original intentions may not have been that, so it's difficult to prove intent. So to me, the safety measure to be taken there is you refuse the work permit or you defer it on the basis that the person is here as a visitor. But I'm not sure that you could prosecute them on the basis that they submitted an application. You don't have to grant the permit. You're under no obligation to grant it whatsoever if they were here as a visitor.
I'm not talking about prosecute. I'm talking about denying the right to do that, because if someone then offers you a job as a visitor when you came in as a visitor, that's what you're or allowed in as a visitor. Don't you think that your status must now be changed? Other than a visitor, that your status should be changed for a person seeking employment?
No, I don't think that there's any restriction on when an application can be submitted. There's no restriction on when an application can be submitted.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. We do have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning. Good morning, OC, and good morning to the doctor there.
Good morning, sir.
Well, I call to support Dr. McPhail. The idea that you have Dr. McPhail, I don't know if I'm the only one that knows this or remember this. OC, you should be able to help him in a better way on that, being you holding the immigration position. Back in the day, if you check the back of the old declaration cards, it plainly states you should not take part or seek any gainful occupation. Seek. That means if you come here as a tourist, you couldn't even walk up to me and say, I would like to stay here.
I think we all agree on that point. I'm not denying that. Right? I'm not denying that.
So that in many instances, a lot of people A lot of people, you could almost say, remained on this island illegally because it plainly told them on the declaration card that they signed, you should not take part or seek any gainful occupation.
So,
and people came here as vacation and never left.
So
They got a
if
job while they were here.
caller, if they then were successful in obtaining a work permit while here as a visitor, who do you think issued that work permit? Who do you think signed that work permit? The same persons who are charged with enforcing it?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Okay,
saying.
okay.
So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I always thought about this. If you can deem these people as being here illegally, because those same people that came here, I remember Mr. former member Miller told me that he had a run-in with a gentleman who came here as a tourist and was giving him advice 10 or 15 years afterward, who never left, came as a tourist and never left at all. He just stayed. And you know, it violates what Dr. McField said that he was landed here for in the first place, to enjoy the sea sun and sun. And he ended up staying here and probably still here up until today.
But you also have to acknowledge that there can be exceptions to that as well.
Yeah.
And remember now, the other thing to bear in mind, these people, they're applying for work permits, but who can, you tell me, who can apply for a work permit? Who's authorized to apply for a work permit?
Well, the declaration card told you that you couldn't.
No, who's authorized to apply for a work permit? Unless you're applying for a self-employed work permit, who is authorized to apply for a work permit?
The Caymanian employer.
Exactly, Doc. Exactly.
There was also something in place, Osirapad, you had to be off island.
No, we're talking about that too, but let's get back to my point. The persons who are applying for work permits,
Let me answer that. No one that is here as a tourist. Because according to what I saw on the back of the declaration card, it said no one.
What I'm talking about is that there has to be an employer, my friend. There has to be an employer. That employer has to that employer has to have a trade and business license. To have a trade and business license, you either have to be Caymanian or you have a local company's control license, which means there's a 60-40% relationship between a Caymanian and a non-Caymanian. My point is that these individuals are not coming here themselves and submitting an application for a work permit. There is a potential or a prospective employer who is making that application. Now that employer, that prospective employer let me finish. That person is hopefully making that application, submitting that application in good faith that he has legitimate and genuine employment for that individual. So you tell the Caymanian who comes to you and says, here I have a restaurant and I need a kitchen helper, I need servers. I have tried to get Caymanians and I'm unable to get those Caymanians. You tell that Caymanian now that they can't operate that business because you're not going to issue them a work permit.
I'll say half of the time, the excuse that they give you not legitimate, that's a lie. Half the time that's a lie, because you know how many Caymanians that have turned up for a job because they saw it advertised, and when they got there, they told them, no, the job has already been filled. That time, a week or two afterward, it still turns up in the paper because it's compulsory. They have to advertise it.
Yeah, those things happen, that's the responsibility. That's the responsibility of the Immigration Department to scrutinize those applications, to do their homework at the end of the day, to do their investigations, to determine that that person legitimately needs that employee.
Immigration are on the road doing that investigation and inquiring and visiting sites of foreign workers and the likes. When last you hear anything like that happen?
But you don't necessarily have to visit the sites to do that. You have the application in front of you, and you interview the employer. You may want to issue.
If you visit the sites like how we used to do back in the day, you would also come across people that have been overstaying for 2 years. You might just run into one of them.
Oh yes.
When last you saw that happen.
That is true, and whether or not that, from what should I say, optics standpoint, whether or not we want to be seen to be, it depends on how that is approached, how you approach that. Yeah, go ahead.
Just before I go, you spoke about who should be able to apply. That's just like for PR. Who should be able to apply for PR? I know people apply. I understand there's you got to accumulate something like 120 points or some point system, right?
110.
Play, right? But people are applying with 20 points. Is that shouldn't the person that receives the application there and then do something similar to what they do when you submit a work permit? They'll flick through it and see if you got your accommodation form or the likes. And if they flick through these PR that is being submitted, and them right there with their own knowledge can determine that you don't have enough points, they should just give that back to you instead of taking it and making it pile up till they get to the roof, and then the person remains on the island for 2 and 3 years before it reaches the board. I
believe you're likely to see some changes with that. The authorities do recognize that is an issue, that persons are submitting what could be deemed as either frivolous or applications that have no chance whatsoever of succeeding, but they're doing it to skirt the system. Yeah.
And there's another thing, caller. There's another thing about the point system. The point system too is sort of discriminatory, because if you are working in a certain category, if you have worked in a certain category and of a profession or so forth, and the person is working as a domestic or that you need, or working as a gardener, or working as a carpenter or a mason, and he's been here for 10, 15, 20 years, and he's working, and his labor is needed, but he will not qualify for a person who's an accountant or an executive or a banker or something. That person has a better opportunity of getting the PR than the mason, who is also doing as important work. And that something has to be done about that also.
You're talking about them discriminating amongst themselves. What about them that do get it, whether they're low income or high income? Discriminate. That's a discrimination against me too. Who can trace my people back to the 1700s that been here? So now how somebody with a stroke of a pen can just determine somebody can have the same but rights that I have here, just because they got 5 points. They walk some dog up and down the street. That give them the rights to be called the same thing that I'm being called.
Okay.
Or the rights on this island. So don't be talking that kind of foolishness.
Yes.
I don't care about discriminating amongst themselves. I'm talking about discrimination against me too.
Got you. Okay.
Got you.
We have to go to a commercial break. 5 minutes past the commercial break. Miss Susan is going to put us on the blacklist for that. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
When I was growing up in Cayman, Sundays was always a big day for our family. Everyone would go to Granny's house for Sunday dinner after church. Even today, I can still smell the aroma of all the delicious food we used to eat, especially the hot, fresh baked bread smothered in butter, topped off with our favorite pan cheese. These days, I don't have enough time to cook and bake, but I do my best to carry on the Sunday tradition of family meals, and being able to get hot, fresh bread with no preservatives or additives from Caribbean Bakery is a big help for me. Shh, don't tell them, they still think I baked it. Caribbean Bakery, now delivering every Sunday to McGrath's grocery store in Eastern Avenue and Marina Drive. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
Are you feeling sick but don't feel ill enough to go to the doctor? Ask your pharmacist for advice. Here at West Bay Pharmacy, our pharmacists have been trained to offer helpful, easy-to-understand advice on the treatment of everyday minor ailments for yourself and all the family. Anything from headaches, cough, and sore throat to cold sores, our pharmacists will know when medical help is needed and will not hesitate to refer you to your doctor if your symptoms demand it. Like doctors, our pharmacists have a professional code, which means all personal information you give them will be treated in the strictest confidence. Visit us today at West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
The 20th Annual Talent Exposition of the Arts is here.
Are you ready for some talent tonight?
Presented by the New Self-Help Community Foundation. Coming to the stage Sunday, July 25th at the Harkwell Theater. Don't miss. Awesome performances by Liana DaCosta, JC Patrick, Rico Rolando.
Yeah, she twerking off a band and I'm about to make it dance, yeah.
Radiance Dance Studio, Mariah Praise, Dream Chasers K-Man, James at Anglin and Son, SI, Center Point Dance Studio, and UCCI Dancers. Part of the proceeds from the Talent Exposition of the Arts go to support the John Gray High School Music Department. Prepaid tickets at Funky Tang and Winners Circle Sports. $10 or $15 at the gate. The 2021 Talent Exposition of the Arts, Sunday, July 25th at the Harkwell Theater. Gates open at 5:30 p.m. Show starts at 6:30. Get your tickets today.
Did you know about UCCI's Back to Uni giveaway? Up to $2,000 in prizes are being given away.
Serious? How can I win?
Easy! Just register early for fall classes and you'll be entered to win in one of UCCI's weekly giveaways. Maybe you'll get lucky and win one of the top 3 prizes, your choice of an iPad or a laptop computer.
Cool. I'm going online to register now.
Students can register online, make an in-person appointment, or drop in at UCCI. Visit ucci.edu.ky for more information on UCCI's Back to Uni giveaway.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orit Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Dr. Steve McField in the studio with me. I want to share some of the WhatsApp messages that received as well. Boom, 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 boom. But we do have a caller. Let's take the caller first. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You see, now before the campaign started, I had asked a couple types of reforms, and I can remember 3 right off: immigration being first, campaign finance reform being second, and I recall vote that Mr. Dana Warren had won. Like I said, I don't really understand much about it, but it sounds good. So I had won it. And now we hear the fine details of immigration, and I really wish somebody had picked her up on it, to at least air something surrounding the issues we have at immigration, the systems of fine print, etc., etc. But I guess one of these days we'll get them. Even after I did, we'll get there. But, sir, I want to find out, or if anybody could tell me, was it a time, and that would be you, sir, Mr. O.C., was there a time in Cayman, because I kind of saying in my head there was a time in Cayman when you wanted to apply for status, etc., things like that. You had to post your picture in the papers, like I think it was 2 weeks before you made your submission for whatever. And that seemed to have gone away. That was
for Caymanian status.
Yeah, so that was the case. So what happened to that policy? I mean, it might not have been a law, but I guess it was a policy if it was widely accepted that it had to be done. And I'm almost sure that I used to hear people walking, but grumbling about it, but they did it. But that went away, and there seemed to have been no notification of that. But I think that is another place, that is another instance where we went tragically wrong. And that all that kind of thing now is what I call corruption, because don't tell me that they don't understand.
Yeah, I think what happened is some of our politicians, in their infinite wisdom, felt that was something that was no longer necessary, whether or not they had been lobbied by those persons who felt that it was below them to have to publish their name and put their photographs in the paper when they were applying for status. But what it did, it allowed every Caymanian, every person to know that person, that individual was making an application, and if they knew something, or if they had a complaint, a legitimate complaint about that person, and they felt that person should not be granted Caymanian status, despite the fact that they may have submitted a clean police clearance certificate or otherwise, to allow those any individual to object to that person being granted Caymanian status. Now, one of the things that we have to bear in mind also is that we as a people here in Cayman, and sometimes you can understand why people don't want to do it, but we don't want to put our name or our face behind what we write. And when you are, if you are a statutory body and you're considering an application for someone, and your decision is going to be based on a complaint that is made by someone else, that applicant has to have the right to face their accuser.
That's right. The right to know the case against them.
So you can't submit. There were days when this happened where you could submit a complaint anonymously, but in this day and age where everyone is prepared to litigate, that no longer obtains.
And the rule of natural justice applies to these applications as well.
Yep. So I see absolutely nothing wrong with us reimposing that condition, that if you're applying for Caymanian status, maybe even permanent residence, that you publish the fact that you're applying and you put your picture in the paper, because that gives everyone an opportunity to know exactly who is applying, who's being granted, and if you have a legitimate complaint to do so. Comments from you, my dear. Oh, she's left us. Ms. Susan, you want to... are you there, caller?
Yes, I am.
Oh, sorry. Okay, there.
I ain't going nowhere yet.
You went quiet on me.
I said, because I was talking over you in that banners.
Oh, sorry.
I said, and in a small jurisdiction, like how we are outnumbered and outgunned, I so believe that we could, at the very basic position of at least knowing who is vying for, who is applying for our rights and our privileges, because that's all we have. That's all we have that we think that we got. Is our little rights and privileges in this very small jurisdiction, and it's being wrestled from us on a daily basis. And whether knowingly or unknowingly, those people that we fight so hard to elect, because I'll tell you what, the grassroots in this country as Caymanians, I'm not talking about them that come and get their privileges because they ask for them. I'm talking about the Caymanian, who Caymanian means something to us. We fight harder for elections than the candidates themselves. And when they get there, then they just throw us out with the baby, the bathwater, and grandma and grandpa and everything else. And they contribute to the strong who give away our country, because we are a giving away people. I don't know who's going to write our history, but I hope they start doing the rough draft before I did, because I won't see it. We are a giving away people. Given away, not sold away. If I was sold away, I wouldn't feel so bad about it, because at least I was worth something. We are a giving away people. And any little thing that is puts us on the plus side is wrestled from us by our own that we went out there, fought for, and voted for. And, I like this conversation this morning. At least it opens our eyes to little tidbits about immigration that's helpful to know.
Okay.
Stuart, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Top of the hour. Headline news, 9 o'clock. We do have a few callers on hold. We will take those callers as soon as we return, so please stay tuned.
From East End to Georgetown, down into West Bay.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Government reported the results of 427 COVID-19 tests on Friday. One came back positive. To date, more than 94,000 COVID-19 vaccinations have been given in total in the Cayman Islands. Thousands of Cubans have joined the biggest protests for decades against the island's communist government. They marched in cities, including the capital, Havana, shouting, quote, "Down with the dictatorship." Images on social media showed what appeared to be security forces detaining and beating some of the protesters. And police in Haiti say they have arrested a doctor they believe is a key suspect in organizing last week's assassination of President Jovenel Moïse. They say Christian Emmanuel Sanon, a 63-year-old Haitian national, flew into the country on a private jet in early June with, quote, "political motives." 53-year-old president was killed at his home on July 7th by 48 foreign mercenaries. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. Dr. Steve McField in the studio with me. Two callers on hold. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. O.C.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
And good morning to my good old friend, Dr. Steve McField.
Good morning, sir.
I hope his shoulder is feeling better now.
Yes.
Anyway, I'm glad we can laugh because Mr. O.C., I think you will agree with me that this doesn't seem like the same island you grew up in.
It certainly isn't.
And it just seemed like it's not only here either, that across the Caribbean and, in Haiti they had an assassination, in Cuba where they're finally got out of their coma and they're trying to stand up for what is right. That's good. But let's get back to Cayman, and I was hoping that I would get to speak to you and that maybe you can enlighten me just what really happened in regards to, let's say, Saturday night and 2 shots being fired. Can you enlighten me on that?
Well, there was a press release that was put out by the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service, and I can, during the course of the show, read that press release, the latest press release that came out from them for you. I can do that. Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, it's really troublesome because, like I said earlier, that this is not the island you and I knew. And I remember, who can forget, years ago in West Bay, when it took everything within me to say, my district has become the Wild West. But, there was a lot of killing of young people. A neighbor told me 2 days ago, we could start talking, and he said, "Do you know how many of those young men were killed during that time?" I said, "No." He said 43. I mean, that shook me. But now it's in Georgetown, and back to West Bay, and where is it going next? And the question people ask me, and I can't answer it, where are the guns coming from? I can only say this, that I was told that in Haiti there are a lot of guns, and they get them cheap. And then the Haitians in turn smuggle them into Jamaica and exchange them for, Haiti is a poor place. It might have been sugar, flour, or whatever. And then those guys in Jamaica who are in the drug business bring them to Cayman, and they get a good price for them. I don't know if that is a true story or that's, where they're coming from. But I know one thing, it bothers me, and I hope that now we have a Coast Guard and we got a regiment and we got this. I hope that somehow we can get a handle on where these guns are coming from and put a stop to it because, see, what we don't really stop and think about is that now with social media, as soon as something happens, it gets on Facebook or whatever, and in a blink, it's gone to the United States of America.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the place where we hope to get our tourism from. I'm not saying I completely kill it, but some people can say, what? In Cayman, that's what's going on? So I don't want to stress this. I know you have other people waiting, but you say you will read the press release from the police?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, again, thank you very much for sending us out over the airwaves information that we can go by and believe. And God bless you. And also my good friend, Steve.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. And thanks for your insight, and we will certainly share that release with you as well. Next caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. Oshie.
Good morning, ma'am. How are you?
Good morning to my good friend, Dr. Steve McField.
Good morning, Miss Georgette, and it's good to hear your voice and your song like you're 25 still.
Flattery will get you nowhere.
yes.
All jokes aside, I know among my many papers and so forth, I have old newspapers with the pictures of people that when they got their status or residence, their picture was in the newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
If you weren't a criminal, why would you want to not have your picture taken? Anyway, this is another side about it. I met a lovely English woman in the library all those years ago when it was going on. You had to have your pictures. And I sort of knew, was acquainted with her. I really didn't know her that well. But she said, Miss Georgette, unless you have something to hide, why would you not want your picture in the paper?
Exactly.
She said, it's so these days now that when you walk over, and that was many years ago. She said, you meet up with people and you don't know who they are. You've never seen them before. Everything that will help Cayman in general. Don't you notice, Mr. O.C. and Dr. Steve, that we just throw it in the garbage, forget all about it. But the day's coming when many, many people on this island, I'm sure I'll be dead and gone and dust by those days, or might even come sooner, who knows, that we are going to regret doing that we didn't keep that up. So may God bless you, Mr. O.C., and Dr. Steve McField, and all the staff at Radio Cayman, and all the people on Grand Cayman, Cayman Brac, and Little Cayman. Because if ever we need blessings directly from that good God in heaven, this is the time. We got to the edge of the precipice and we looked down, and you know what happened? We've fallen in. God bless you all.
Thank you very much, Ms. Georgette, and all the best to you. And please stay safe as well. Doc?
Well, I don't know if it's a change of principles or not, or is it a change of policy. Was it a principle or a policy? It depends. whether people were complaining about they did not want their picture to be out publicized. That could have been people lobbying the then government to change that policy. I don't think it was law. It's not anywhere in immigration law that you had to publish your photographs.
In the regulations,
but
yes.
it's in the regulations.
In the regulations, yes.
So maybe we should go back to the regulations and have that installed again. Because
the question is, Doc, I don't see any Caymanian saying, why is it that I have to continue to see these people's photographs and notices that they're applying for Caymanian status? Caymanians welcome that. So I don't believe that the complaint came from Caymanians. It had to come from those persons who are applying.
Yes. Nelson Mandela said something while he was being interviewed by American television 3 months after he was released from prison from Robben Island. He said that anybody who changes their principles depending on who they're dealing with at the moment, that person will not make a good leader of a nation. And perhaps we ought to stick to some principles and stand by them, and not have them eroded. And it's good to know if you come into a society as small as we are, to know exactly who's coming in and who you are. And perhaps that is why the forefathers included that into the regulations. So that was in the regulations from the inceptions of the Immigration Act in 1972 and 1973.
Basically, from the time that the grant of Caymanian status was
and the Caymanian Protection Law.
Yes, yeah, yeah. And why shouldn't we have the ability to know who it is that we are allowing to remain amongst us
and come as our neighbor,
and to be called a Caymanian as well? And look at those that are granted by cabinet or referred to by the immigration by the Status and Permanent Residence Board to the cabinet, and cabinet then has to transmit those to the Legislative Assembly, and they sit there for negative resolution, I believe it is. But they're debated in there. Members of Parliament get an opportunity to
scrutinize them, to debate them.
Their names are mentioned and everything. So if that is being done for them, why shouldn't we have people? Now we don't have that many printed daily newspapers, but we certainly do have social the other types of media that can be used for that purpose as well. Okay, I'm told that we have more callers. We can accommodate one more call before we go to the commercial break. We'll take the other callers after. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, O.C. Good morning, Dr. Steve.
Good
morning, madam.
I'll try to make this quick since I don't have much time. But Dr. Steve, you brought up something on one of the shows, I think it was last Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken, when it was the day you were speaking about when you had gone off with a group of lawyers, and that on your law degree, I think you said you have something put on there about, your forefathers being seamen.
Oh, yes.
How you were.
When I wrote my first book, it was called the Cayman Islands, the Ideal Caribbean Financial Center.
Okay.
And when I graduated from in England, I got my bachelor's degree, I put that on it. Yes, that I came from a family of seamen.
Right. Okay. And I'm so happy that you brought that up, Dr. Steve. And one of these days, when it permits, I would like you to elaborate a little bit more on that, because I'm sure that's not where that started and where it stopped. I have had that experience when I went out to work, and I don't think they have to do it anymore because the objective has not been achieved by those who were doing it. But when it tied in with the loss of our culture and heritage and stuff like that, and it started from in the schools, and then it went to the workplaces where they made fun of our accents. They made fun of, like what we wore and stuff like that. It told us that, it was silly, it was stupid, that's how we sounded and stuff like that. We had teachers telling us we would never amount to anything. Maybe some of us would be able to do CSE cleaning up the yard. That was one thing. That was about that day. And the other thing I'd like to say is pertaining to what you all were talking about just now, and one of your callers, when they called in about, their feeling about visitors coming here and, applying for work permits and stuff like that, or whatever it is they're applying for. But that is a racket. Unfortunately, whether the immigration board, or whomever want to admit, it's a racket. These people find a way around everything. And yes, I agree with all the callers that say the pictures with the full name and any aliases should be published. If for no other reason, when they are granted, because not many are refused, we can then know who is legal here and who is not. So I will leave you all with that. Like I said, I believe you have to go to a break or something. So I'll continue to listen.
Thank you. Thank you very much, caller, for that as well. We're going to take the commercial break as promised. When we return, the conversation will continue, so please stay tuned.
Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vant Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier. Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vantmotors.com, or stop by Vamp's Service Center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vant Motors on Walkers Road.
Health City is now open at Camana Bay, offering a wide range of specialties at our state-of-the-art Camana Bay Clinic. We are here to help you save time and feel better. We are open weekdays, weekends, and evenings for your convenience, and are dedicated to reducing your wait time while improving your health. Friendly staff, expert care, lab services, and diagnostics in one convenient location from the hospital you know and trust. Health City at Camana Bay, within your reach.
Make your house into a home. Welcome to Brand Source Home Gallery, your source for premium products and a premium experience. We'll design and install your dream kitchen with crafted cabinets, complemented with elegant appliances. We'll fill it with quality houseware and cookware. Custom designed closet and storage solutions organize and beautify any area. And with the finest bedding, you'll get a perfect night's sleep knowing Brand Source Home Gallery has everything you need to make your house a home.
Are you feeling sick, but don't feel ill enough to go to the doctor? Ask your pharmacist for advice. Here at West Bay Pharmacy, our pharmacists have been trained to offer helpful, easy-to-understand advice on the treatment of everyday minor ailments for yourself and all the family. Anything from headaches, cough and sore throat, to cold sores, our pharmacists will know when medical help is needed and will not hesitate to refer you to your doctor if your symptoms demand it. Like doctors, our pharmacists have a professional code, which means all personal information you give them will be treated in the strictest confidence. Visit us today at West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We're going back to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Dr. Macfield.
Good morning, ma'am.
Thank you for taking my call. I was holding on a little bit, but I needed to say this. I want to say good morning to my friend. I don't hear him no more.
We're getting a lot of background noise from your phone, caller.
You are? That must be this cool breeze on my back porch.
Probably is. Okay.
Okay, I'm going inside.
Thanks.
I don't hear my good friend anymore. I don't see him, and I miss him, hearing him on the radio telling us information, and that is, both Mr. Ezard Miller. I'm longing to hear from him, and Mr. Arden McLean. And I want to say good morning to them. Now, I have something important to say. It's gossip around West Bay. Just a few weeks ago, we heard on your radio and on Radio Cayman, the only one that I know, about prisoners selling drugs. Security guards selling drugs to the prisoners. Those security guards were at the prison. Now, they were caught, and I guess they were released because they're living in the community, and people are afraid that all of this shooting that we're hearing about recently, something may happen. They're living in a neighborhood. Now, we know if our little boys, our Cayman boys get caught with a stick of weed, they go into prison. And I guess some of those security guards were selling it to them. Who knows? But what slackness? Why are they released and then living in a neighborhood where so many people are, and little children and school children and whatnot? When time are we going to buckle down and say, this is happening, shooting is happening, we can't handle it? But what they do, hire more and more police that we do not know nothing about, and put them on duty, and the same nationalities all over and over again. We can't handle it, so bring in people that can handle this. I mean, people now to have a board meeting and call themselves consultants, and then leave the island with a pile of money and then come back and buy a condo. I mean, military people, before this completely get out of hand. I'm asking our representatives to think about it, because people, we're scared enough of the COVID, but to be shot up, innocent people, and whatnot, we need to do something about all of this that is happening. Police patrolling, that's a joke. I got the first time to see one of them down in here, Coral Gables, for the last 4 days that all of this was going on. Gentlemen, I thank you for your time, and good morning to my friends again, and good morning to you, Dr. Maxfield. I always enjoy hearing you, and you too, OC.
Okay,
thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you very much, caller. Let's grab another, see if we can grab two calls before we go to our break. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, yeah, good morning, OC and Dr. Maxfield, Billy Sinamba.
How's it going, good morning, Mr. Samamba.
Yeah, I wasn't following very closely. Was there an issue about the publication of names of people in the paper who are applying for status? Did somebody have a problem with that?
Well, that was a conversation that was going on. Yes, someone was talking about the fact that it is no longer required. We no longer see it, and we were questioning the rationale for removing that condition.
I would question the same, because I mean, I know these days we have social media and so on, but I mean, how do you know if the person who you're granting status to might be a fugitive war criminal from Rwanda who has changed his name? How do you know?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So, yeah. Yeah, I think that if it was feasible to be able to do it even on a website, I think they should think about that because, Cayman is a small place. You don't want to spoil it now. But that's not what I called about. I was just listening in. I just wanted to follow up a little bit very quickly on this exercise of the prosecutorial discretion issue because I won't repeat what I said last week. Last week, of course, for those who were not listening, all I had asked for was about this lady who she's being charged because she hid a file, which was a case for her son. I've got three new questions. One, I'm asking why the prosecutor who she dealt with, who was not charged under Section 119 of the Penal Code for neglect of duty. Because, you see, according to the facts read in court, and they are in the public media, this lady gave the file to the prosecutor, asking that her son should be given a caution instead of being charged. The prosecutor sent the file to the police, asking for more information. At that point, the prosecutor should have ensured that the lady does not handle the file again since she was conflicted. So how did she wind up again with the file after the file came back from the police? Do you see my problem? At that point, the prosecutor, who is a trained person, a lawyer, should have said, DPP, I'm recommending she should not handle this issue, but we'll deal with it. That's my first question.
Okay.
Two, secondly, the matter of of the file being hidden only became an issue after the second defendant in the matter was recommended for prosecution.
Mm-hmm.
This was after the file came back from the police. It appears that this lady's son was not recommended for prosecution. So the inference I have drawn, I don't have proof of it, but this is my hunch, is that the co-defendant may have raised the issue with anti-corruption. That's how it wound up with anti-corruption, to say, well, why am I the only one being charged? Then at that point, when the anti-corruption spoke to the DPP's office, they had no real explanation why, and therefore they had to find a scapegoat. So I don't think that this lady acted alone. Then last point, the lady was charged by the Anti-Corruption Commission. This same commission, it refused to charge officers in the civil registry of the Grand Court for refusing to accept my application for default judgment against Mr. Justice Kawali. After they refused to do so in January this year, 6 months later, the clerk of court admitted in writing to me that they had no legal right to refuse my form for default judgment. By that time, the judge had filed the necessary document, and so my right to a default judgment was lost forever. So I was informed in writing that the Chief Justice was also consulted in the process of making the decision. Why didn't they charge the Chief? Exercising the prosecutorial discretion. I thank you very much. Thanks for the time. These are the questions I think we should continue to ask.
Certainly. Thank you very much, Billy, for that. Doc, I'm going to get you, give you an opportunity to respond to Billy later on those legal issues as well. Let's grab one more caller before the break. Okay. Why don't we take, you ready for the break now, Ms. Susan? We're going to take the break. When we return, Doc, I'm going to get you to respond to Billy. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Health City is now open at Camana Bay, offering a wide range of specialties at our state-of-the-art Camana Bay Clinic. We are here to help you save time and feel better. We are open weekdays, weekends, and evenings for your convenience and are dedicated to reducing your wait time while improving your health. Friendly staff, expert care, lab services, and diagnostics in one convenient location from the hospital you know and trust. Health City at Camana Bay, within your reach.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, K-Man.
89.9 Radio Cayman helps you to weather the storm during this hurricane season.
One of the most crucial elements of hurricane preparedness is storm awareness. During the season, it is of utmost importance to pay attention to the latest local weather forecasts, as hurricanes do not suddenly form or strike. There are various methods of advanced notification. Utilizing such may be the difference between a favorable outcome and disaster. Both television and radio serve as excellent mediums with up-to-the-minute storm path information in the wake of a hurricane. Another method of tracking a hurricane may be only arm's length away. Your smartphone or tablet can be your most valuable tool before, during, and after a storm, providing countless numbers of apps with crucial hurricane information. Many apps allow you to track storms with moving radar and satellite imagery, plus offer alerts, current conditions, forecasts, advisories, and even video.
This hurricane preparedness tip was brought to you by your community radio station, Radio Cayman, 89.9 FM.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orit Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Steve McFeel. Doc, I want to respond to some of the points that Billy raised.
Well, some of the points that Mr. Samamba raised, for instance, about the charging of people. Under the Constitution, the DPP is a creature of the Constitution, a creature of statute, and he or she has all the discretions in themselves whether they will charge or not. It's their decision. We don't know. I don't know. I am not prepared to say whether they're right or wrong because I am not privy to any of the facts behind the matters that he is raising. But certainly I know that the DPP, charging is a DPP discretion. If they want to charge, they charge. If they do not want to charge, there's no one who can demand that they charge, and there's no one who can beg that they not charge. So as far as the other matters are concerned, I think that some of those matters must be sub judice. The ones that he's talking about, the judges and things like that. I don't really want to get into those matters because I am not privy to those. I don't know the background of the matters he's talking about. Certainly, some of the other matters that he's talking about, I understand that they're still under investigation. The matters are still under investigation, and it would be facetious of me and precipitous of me to make an opinion on something that I really am not privy to.
Okay. Thank you very much for that clarification. I did promise one of our callers that I would share this information in relation to the press release issued by the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service. And so here it is. This is an update. Police respond to firearm incident in West Bay, 11th of July. And this is an update on 11th of July. Further to the below incident of shots being fired, police can confirm that it was reported that 2 shots were fired along West Church Street near the West Bay Post Office yesterday on the 10th of July. During the investigation, 2 spent rounds were recovered by the officers. No one reported injuries or damage to property in the nearby area. Goes on to say that from the description of a vehicle involved in the incident, officers from the Firearm Response Unit had cause to search a vehicle that was located at a residence on Birch Tree Hill Road. During the search, several rounds of ammunition were recovered along with a firearm magazine. 2 men, ages 21 and 30, both of West Bay, were arrested on suspicion of possession of an unlicensed firearm. The men are currently in custody pending further investigations. Detectives are encouraging everyone with information regarding this incident to call the Major Incident Room at 649-2930. I'll repeat that again, 649-2930. Anonymous tips can be provided direct to the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service via our confidential tip line at 949-7777. I will repeat that. The confidential tip line is 949-7777. 949-7777. Or you can also do so via the website. They also remind you that tips can also be submitted anonymously via the Miami-based Crime Stoppers online as well. So, firearm magazine was recovered. 2 persons arrested in that case. So, seems as if while some people may believe that the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service is not proactive, just people need to bear in mind that the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service is not going to get out there and post everything on social media or elsewhere in terms of what they're doing.
Yeah, so what they're doing what we need to do, information they have.
Yes, and what we need to do is we need to allow them to do their job and support them by providing them with relevant information or information that you may believe may not be relevant. And the other end of that is that the trust. People must have trust in the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service that whatever information that they're providing to them will remain in confidence because they do not want to put themselves in jeopardy as well. So that is extremely important also. Doc, over to you.
So, yes, some people are saying that we have so many policemen and they're not bringing people to justice as quickly as they should. But you don't want to act precipitously in these matters when we have these community uprising. I believe that the police know who they're looking for. I believe that they will find their people that they're looking for, and they will find the kind of evidence that they need to convict people. I don't think we should rush to judgment, because it is not so easy. It's not so easy when you grab up a lot of people to say that you have grabbed people off the streets, and then you come into courts, and then you have lawyers who say, well, challenge that, and then you spend a lot of money on cases, and then you have to let them go because the police has not crossed their T's and dot their I's and crossed their T's and have not thought through the evidence thoroughly and have not brought the right people to justice. It's not so easy today as it was before, and the police, I know, have good detective instruments. They have good detective apparatus, and I think that they are doing a good job. And it might not look to the public that they are arresting a lot of people, but arresting a lot of people is not the only answer. They have to have evidence to convict the people they have arrested.
Okay. One of our listeners wrote, and I have several WhatsApp messages that I will share as well. This one says, the Haiti situation should be of significant concern to us. We need to urgently step up our border patrol using all of the means that the state has. The arms drug dealers who coordinate with Jamaica will take advantage to increase deliveries to these islands.
Yes, one time when I was running for election, I did make some profound statements about border control. I said, and I still maintain what I said then, that if I was in power, in any position of power decision making, any boat that breaches the 3 mile limit coming towards Cayman, I want to know who they are, where the boat is from, who is on board, and what they're coming to Cayman for. And if a toilet flushes in that zone, I want to know who flushed that toilet. And I said, if you're coming in that zone and you're not going to customs to clear to come into port, and we ask you to stop, and you're not stopping, we're going to shoot you out of the water. I made that quite clear. I didn't get elected because the people that I was trying to protect is the people who voted against me. And when I say that if you bring drugs in Cayman on you, and you try to land them here, you're going to serve time for a long time. And if you bring drugs in your stomach, and you have them in your stomach, and you want to pass them out, we're not passing them out in my hospital on my toilet. You are going back on the same flight or the same boat that you came on. And people said to me at the forum, well, that would be terrible because the drugs might burst or whatever in their stomach and they might die. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, it'd rather the mule to die on the way back to their country than to unleashing their drugs in my community and contaminating 40 and 50 of my school children.
Yeah. Well, in the recent shootings that have taken place, we've heard and we received WhatsApp messages here from people as well who want advocating for the authorities to come down real hard, to use the heavy hand of the law in terms of dealing with it. So we see people who are prepared to go beyond or push the limits of civil rights and personal rights to address situations. But yet at the same time, we see those same persons saying that they want them restored when it comes to their ability to choose whether or not they should take the vaccine, or not. So, they're talking out and speaking out of one side of their mouth about one thing, one side of their mouth, about the other. But in this day and age, and we know that there are countries in the Middle East who basically say these are the laws that we're going to have. We'll still cut your hand off. If you caught stealing, irrespective of what human rights provisions are.
Exactly.
But we are a party to them being a British overseas territory. So, how far can we really push the envelope when it comes to that?
Well, there's an old saying that no one can protect you. You have to protect yourself. Mm-hmm. We have always in this country look forward to other people to protect us from whatever, from ourselves sometimes. Mm-hmm. You have to be able to position to protect yourself. And if we can spend money giving away concessions to rich millionaire people to buy our land and to build on it, I think we should put money into protecting our life and our safety when we go to sleep at night. We should know that we're sleeping in a safe country. And by some of the calls that we have received on this station since I have been here, I know that a lot of Caymanian people don't feel that they're safe anymore in their own country, and that is they have said that loud and clear. They have said that on Facebook, they have said that on the blogs, and they have said that on the radio and the calls that they make, and that is something that bothers me. And I think that we ought to put more emphasis on it, and we ought to know exactly who comes here, who come in our borders, either legitimately or illegitimately. We need to know that and to deal with that.
Okay. Ms. Susan, do you want to try one call before the break or take the break? We'll take the break. We have 3 callers. Those are going to be the last 3 calls, Ms. Susan, because I have a few WhatsApp messages here as well that I need to want to read. And talking about the grant of Caymanian status, I want to look at the 1984 immigration law and see what is in there in relation to whether or not a person has to have their photograph published. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
When I was growing up in Cayman, Sundays was always a big day for our family. Everyone would go to Granny's house for Sunday dinner after church. Even today, I can still smell the aroma of all the delicious food we used to eat, especially the hot, fresh baked bread smothered in butter, topped off with our favorite pan cheese. These days, I don't have enough time to cook and bake, but I do my best to carry on the Sunday tradition of family meals, and being able to get hot, fresh bread with no preservatives or additives from Caribbean Bakery is a big help for me. Shh, don't tell them, they still think I baked it. Caribbean Bakery, now delivering every Sunday to McGrath's grocery store in Eastern Avenue and Marina Drive. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vant Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier. Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vantmotors.com, or stop by Vamp's Service Center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vant Motors on Walkers Road.
According to the Standards in Public Life Act, which of these categories of people are required to file a declaration of interest? A. Members of Parliament. B. Chief officers and deputy chief officers. C. Government department, section or unit heads and their deputies. D. CEOs of statutory authorities and government companies. Or E. Members of government bodies of statutory authorities and government companies. The answer is all of them. For these persons, declarations must be submitted between 1st of July and 30th of July 2021 using the new online portal. For more information or to see the full list of individuals required under the Act to submit a declaration, visit standardsinpubliclifecommission.ky.
Make your house into a home. Welcome to Brand Source Home Gallery, your source for premium products and a premium experience. We'll design and install your dream kitchen with crafted cabinets, complemented with elegant appliances. We'll fill it with quality houseware and cookware. Custom-designed closet and storage solutions organize and beautify any area. And with the finest bedding, you'll get a perfect night's sleep knowing Brand Source Home Gallery has everything you need to make your house a home.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orit Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We have 3 callers. I'm going to ask you to please be as brief as possible. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller.
Morning, Mr. Connor and Mr. McPhee.
Good morning, sir.
Good
How are
morning.
you? How are you, my friend?
Not too bad. I was called to say, I hate to hear people bashing the policeman, because the policeman is like us. We are all flesh and blood. And the police can't be everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Because these criminals nowadays, they're not dressed like criminals, and they dress like
businessmen.
You know I can prove that for myself, because if something happened in Jamaica, but I never discussed that. How they dress like me and you, and they always driving around and looking to see when the time to attack. So I would say stop bashing the policemen. They're hard-working people and they're doing their work. That's what I'm saying. Don't bash the policemen. Stop doing it. It's not right.
Yep.
And even not even the police, but this Custom Border Control also.
Yes.
Because they're all working together hard. And every day I see what be going on. They're active. You understand? I'm part of it too. Understand?
Yep.
I put myself because I'm part of it. Because when we get shut down, I was working from then till now. So stop bashing the policemen. They're doing their work. Leave them in. Another thing, we'll see, when the first time you get your license, right? And there is one part in the you know what I'm talking about. When it says that if you see a emergency light flashing, you must pull off the side of the road. If you see a emergency light flashing, coming. Where you gonna pull off a side road? Where you gonna run for? I'm gonna leave you with this.
Okay.
How it go again? Where you run for? You should have turned up. Have a blessed day.
Thank you. Thank you very much, my friend. You do the same as well. Next caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, OC.
Yes, good morning, caller.
Good morning.
And good morning, Doc. How are you all today?
Good morning, ma'am.
OC, I want to remind you of something. You remember in the years gone by when they used to put the pictures out? You had several people used to call in. I think those days could have probably been Joel Francis on the talk show. But they were talking about gangs coming from certain countries. And they would tell you and even Jamaica, you had Jamaicans would come and go into immigration and tell them, say, look, and I have criminals here. Do you remember all of that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What I think that we need to do with some of our people, we need to give them some international exposure, because what goes on in other countries when it comes to crime doesn't really go on here, you know. I don't know if you all realize that.
We're getting pretty good at it, I'm telling you. We're quickly catching up with the rest of the world.
We got far ways to go, you see, because I wouldn't even call some of the things when people coming through your house stop to kill you and all of this. We're not going that far yet. No. We can still save our guys. We don't really have gangs, and we have what we call a couple of bad boys.
No, caller. I think you are misinformed when it comes to that.
You are missing the point. You're
sounding like the politicians now.
Yes.
In the 80s when they were denying that we had gangs in the Cayman Islands. Can't say that I agree with you on that one.
Bad boys. But let me tell you something. They're not even in line with what gangs do. So this is why I am saying that
gangs kill people.
I understand what you are saying. We're getting there, but if we stand up to them, we can probably save them before they go any further. So far, we don't have people running on the debates when they hear gunshots and all of this. So we need to do something with them and their parents. That's the thing. It starts from young, you know.
Agree with you. Caller, going to ask you to wrap up, though, because we still have another caller and we're running out of time.
To send our people abroad and learn some of these. And another thing before I go into that, they need to look for these tattoos that gangs wear. Yes. And they're changing their tattoos now. They're not making the big things where you can see.
So you're acknowledging now that there are gangs and they got tattoos. Caller, I'm going to ask you to leave us there. We're going to grab another caller because we have to go. Next caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good, doing very good. Just a little bit about what we see going on in the world. If you look at what's happening in Haiti, in the nationalities that are trained, military trained, that they got arrested for the death of the president. I am concerned that when we have what we're calling a national security board, we're not really coming up to the surface to see what's happening. Number one, we should have a real situation where we're able to see what goes around this island, okay? We don't have it. We need radars in this island that we can see. Island is small. We can get a good radar system to see what's going on around this island. And we need more professional, nothing against what we have here now, but we're living in some serious times. When you see guys go from Colombia that are in the commandos to raid and storm places like that, we need, gentlemen, to get something seriously going because we are living in some serious times. So I just hope those couple of words that I've said will be taken in the context that I mean it to be. And gentlemen, have a good day. Thank you.
Certainly. Thank you very much, caller, for that. I have a few WhatsApp messages, and I'm going to basically try to paraphrase from them. One writer supported the fact that persons applying for Caymanian status should have their pictures and their details published in newspaper or for public comment and consumption, and they also agree that it should be done for PR as well. Another writer wanted to know where can they get a list of those persons who have been granted Caymanian status. And I've responded in writing to them and just basically told them that the chief immigration officer or the secretary to the board, I'm almost certain it's the chief immigration officer, is required to publish a list of all those persons who have been granted status.
That's right.
On an annual basis as well. And was there any other one that I had? Nothing in that regard. Now, Doc, I found a document here very quick because I did some quick searches. I have all of the, most of these in hard copy, and I'll check them out later at home. But in the immigration law, there's a section, procedure for the board in considering applications for the grant of Caymanian status. This is in 1984. So this gives us an idea as to when it was changed, the decision was made to remove the requirement to publish. So it says, number one, applications under Section 18, and that's basically on the grounds of residence, shall be in the prescribed form and shall be accompanied by this prescribed fee. The application shall be made in duplicate and shall state whether or not the applicant wishes to be heard in person. 2, a copy of every application shall be forwarded to the secretary, by the secretary, to the commissioner of police, who may make such representations to the board as he may deem proper. 3, where the applicant has requested to be heard in person, the board at its discretion may or may not accede to such request. 4, in granting or rejecting an application under Section 18, the board shall be deemed to act administratively and not judicially, and shall not be bound to give reasons for its decision, but shall inform the applicant of his right of appeal under Section 11. And we know that changed as well.
Yes.
5, the board shall grant Caymanian status in accordance with a quota to be fixed by the governor, which quota shall be gazetted. So this was a time when we still had the quota, 1984.
Yes.
Number 6, where an application has been rejected, the applicant shall not be permitted to make any further application until after the lapse of 1 year from the date of the communication of the decision, or if the board so orders, the lapse of 2 years from the date of such communication. So no mention made in this, in terms of the procedures for the board to follow, has anything to do with the photographs or the advertisement in the press.
So
papers.
Can we assume then that when the law changes in 1984 that it did away with the procedure to publish your picture in the Gazette?
I would say so.
Or in the newspaper.
And remember now, this was also in 1984. Remember the term that they used, the Hadjikate clause?
That's
when,
right.
When before Americans were not eligible for the grant of Caymanian status because they first had to be a British overseas territorial citizen or a British citizen, right, in order to apply.
Yes.
1984 opened it up so that Americans could apply, and I believe that is when we dropped all of those other requirements as well. 1984.
Yes.
Closing comments from you, Doc.
I just want to say that Caymanian principles must be clear and not wishy-washy. If we are going to survive together and not be overcome by the evils of history and the mindlessness of a destructive propaganda machine, the symptoms of brutal subculture war, poverty and crime tells me that we are already affected by these 3 evils. If we are not able to revive our heritage and free our minds, the resulting failure is surely to be economic instability and complete loss of our self-worth as Caymanians.
Okay, Doc, thank you again for being here. Very good dialogue and interaction with our listeners this morning. We touched on several topics this morning, and we will continue to pique their interest in what's happening in the Cayman Islands.
Yes.
Try to keep them informed as well. Try to give them an opportunity to express their feelings. Of course, we're limited in terms of time, so sometimes we have to abbreviate conversations if we are to accommodate everyone. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension for the record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads, maybe not so busy now that school is out, of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. I also want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. So I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. John Sterling, Dwayne Ebanks at 12:15 for Talk Today. And before I go, one writer wanted to know about the consumer price index and why the price of goods have gone up. I think that may be outside of your and my pay grade, Dr. McField, but it would be nice if we could hear from the persons, someone from the Economics and Statistics Unit, to talk about how they go about determining the consumer price index, the basket of goods that they use for that as well. So, folks, please stay safe, and as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh. Health City, now open at Camana Bay 7 days a week.
The Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure, and by West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health.